first, the Albanese government is in such amazing denial about terrorist-run Gaza, about the danger of taking nearly 3,000 refugees from there without proper checks. So tonight, I want to show you what the ABC won't, what other commercial stations don't, and what I would bet that 90% of the Albanese government's politicians have never seen. It's footage from some of the schools and the mosques and the shops and even TV and musicals of Gaza, musicals, to show you aspects of the culture that some of these refugees may come from. And I suspect you'll be shocked. And you will then wonder how your Prime Minister could talk so breezily today after having already let in 1,300 refugees from Gaza on tourist visas without any interview, with ASIO checks only on some, and letting in people who even say they support the Hamas terrorists who run Gaza.
Prime Minister, does supporting Hamas pass the character test for an Australian visa?
Everyone who applies for an Australian visa is subject to the same security standard set by the same agencies and the same personnel as under the former government. And our intelligence agencies make those decisions. Our intelligence agencies have the confidence of this side of the House.
He said one of those agencies, ASIO, has said last week, well, if they say they support Hamas, not a problem. Now, it seems to me Albanese has this naive fantasy that is common on the left, that everyone is basically the same. Culture doesn't count. You can bring in someone from a place with a very different culture and they'll fit in like you wouldn't notice to our beliefs and standards. So, let us look at Gaza, which for 18 years now has been under the control of Hamas, which last October started this war with Israel by slaughtering 1,200 Israelis, raping women, beheading men and kidnapping 251 people. What I'll show you is footage from just the last few years. Now, if you're from Gaza, you are from a terrorist enclave where some children have put on concerts, waving around guns, pretending to be terrorists with blurred the faces for absurd privacy rules. Summer camp for these children has been learning from Hamas terrorists how to handle weapons and shoot. If you're from Gaza, you've probably watched Gaza TV, also controlled by Hamas, which in this compilation from 2015, just for an example, coached children to hate Jews and to kill them and praise parents with that deadly message.
ليش بدك تصير مهندس؟ عشان أفجر اليهود.
رسالتي لكل أم فلسطينية أن تحث أبنائها على الجهاد. الجهاد في سبيل الله أسمى أمانينا. والذي أليست هو جهاد، أليست هو شهادة. إذا كان الموت حق فعار علينا إلا أن نموت شهداء. نعم. تحية لكل أم شهيد. تحية لكل أم شهيد حتى ابنها على الجهاد.
والحمد لله رب العالمين، كل شباب الإسلام في قطاع غزة، كل شباب المسلمين في قطاع غزة يحبون الشهادة كما أعداؤنا الكلاب الكفار اليهود يحبون الحياة. نحن على هذا الدرب، نسأل الله تعالى أن نكون على هذا الدرب، ونسأل الله العلي العظيم أن يكون الملتقى.
نحن ننجب هؤلاء بكثرة لندفعهم حتى للموت.
Now, if you're from Gaza, you may also have gone to mosques, where imams have waved knives or worn battle dress, also preaching death to Jews.
ليس لكم في بلادنا إلا الذبح. ليس لكم في بلادنا إلا الذبح والطعن. جيبوا صاروخ واربطوني عليه وابعثوه على تل أبيب، أنا جاهز.
If you're from Gaza and wanted a bit of relief from this, you wanted to watch maybe a musical on Gaza TV, Hamas TV, it could have looked like this. Lots more guns. And if you went to the shops, you could have bought even perfume in bottles shaped as rockets. Is our Albanese government seriously thinking it can take in 3,000 people from a terror enclave like that without interviews on just tourist visas? Today, Abu Rizvi, who's a former Home Affairs Deputy Secretary, claimed that all this talk about a security risk, look, seriously, it's a beat-up, no big deal. To me, that's a worry. But Rizvi did at least admit the Albanese government should not have stuck in these refugees on mere tourism visas, and said the Home Affairs Department would have given the government advice that the humanitarian option, like a humanitarian visa, was probably the better option. But the government chose a politically safer one that could hush up, it thought, but now it's blown up in their face. But look, I've shown you now some of the poisonous aspects of the culture of Gaza, where these refugees come from, and you now should ask yourself, why did our government think it should take 3,000 Palestinians from there, and without even an interview and barely a check? You've seen. Does this make sense to anyone